This is not normal Saturday night racing. This is racing under the lights at Daytona. 3.5 million watts of power lighting up a 2.5-mile racetrack. Now the drivers have tested here. They're ready to go. They say they love it, but there's going to be some pressure. Pressure on these guys. They're the spotters. Their job is to tell the driver when it's safe to move up on the track, safe to move down low, safe to pass, safe to get back in line. One mistake on their part or a mistake on the part of the drivers behind the wheels. When you're racing at Daytona with restrictor plates, you could have big trouble.
There's nothing to do about it. You're just out there riding.
Especially at Daytona, you see guys go 3 wide, you kind of tense up. You know, you're like, oh no, please don't do that.
Just, you know, you're praying that you can get out of the racetrack or the racing line.
And there was big trouble last weekend at Talladega. Ernie Irvan into the wall hard. Mark Martin's championship hopes took a severe blow as he was involved in that melee. Now, if you can avoid the big one and get to the front, then you have to have partners. You have to make a deal.
When it comes right down there to the end, you need a partner out there.
Actually, Todd and Mike talked Saturday night, and then Mike and I talked on Sunday. We just saw each other right before the race.
There's different guys in the pack that are comfortable working with you, or you're comfortable working with them, that you'll work with through the race.
Try to work with that person as long as you can until it comes time to win.
Well, the end result of that deal is to try to get here in victory lane. But if you don't have the right partner, it's usually no deal. You gotta have help. You want to deal with a teammate if you got one. If not, at least a driver who drives the same make car that you do. But sometimes, like last week with Dale Jarrett and Mike Skinner at Talladega, it's an unlikely alliance. But no matter who you deal with, it doesn't matter. At the end, what it all boils down to is that it's every man for himself. All deals are off in the final 5 laps. And the reason why? It's a single-lane road here into victory lane. You cannot bring that partner with you.
The Pepsi 400, a July 4th holiday tradition, moved to October due to Florida's midsummer wildfires. But tonight, with a state-of-the-art lighting system illuminating the night sky, there is a holiday feel to Daytona International Speedway, as we are just 12 minutes away from the green flag. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Center of Racing. Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, and Buddy Baker. You know, ever since this race was postponed back in July, everybody's been looking to this stretch of the schedule. Unprecedented 2 restrictor plate races back-to-back. Last week, lap 137, a major accident at Talladega. Some teams have been able to rebuild their cars. Others have junked them. They're starting over. You know the story of Ernie Irvan. He hasn't been in the car much, but he's here ready to go racing tonight with Ricky Craven having done all the work this weekend. Last weekend, the Thunderbirds were a story. There were 5 of them. 2 finished in the top 10. 4 T-Birds going racing tonight. And everybody's run here at Daytona. Experience isn't a problem, but it is something new under the lights and the shadows and all of the glare that maybe or maybe not could be a storyline as this evening continues. And Buddy Baker, that's where you come in. 19 top 5s here. You've won a couple of races here. Is everybody starting at square one again, or does experience matter?
I think experience matters when you go to Daytona or Talladega. You have to know how to drive. But one thing to keep in mind, there are so many questions that hadn't been answered. Nobody's actually run 400 miles under the lights here. They're going to have little things that happen in this race that they've never experienced.
It is, though, an electric atmosphere. Have you ever experienced anything like it, Dick Berggren?
Nothing like this, and this is restrictor plate racing, and you talk about some drama. Listen to this. Last year, there were 4 restrictor plate races, 4 different winners. This year, so far, 3 restrictor plate races, 3 different winners. How about upsets? In the last 4 years here in this event, there have been 2 first-time winners.
Needless to say, not a seat to be had. Long since sold out. Heck, here on Bud Pole qualifying the other day, we had a crowd larger than many Daytona 500s of not that many years ago. The engines have fired. We are set to go racing and so honored to be with you on TNN Motorsports for Daytona at the speed of light. They light it up as they go green in a moment. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 is being brought to you by Pepsi, proud sponsor of the Daytona International Speedway and welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this 40th renewal of the Pepsi 400. On the Bud pole, Bobby Labonte has won 3 of 4 restrictor plate poles here in 1998. Jeff Burton, his best restrictor plate finish, is 5th in the 98 Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte sharing row number 2. Couple of big track veterans. Of course, Dale Earnhardt, who won here in February. And Mark Martin with 7 wins in 1998. Rusty Wallace was quickest, actually second fastest in happy hour here yesterday. And Jeff Gordon with 2 Daytona wins, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series point leader. Mike Skinner led the most laps at Talladega a weekend ago. And the first start for Hutch Strickland, driving the second car for Andy Petrie Racing. The leading rookie of this year is Kenny Irwin, and Ward Burton is alongside in row number 6. A former winner here, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope, and John Andretti, who won this race a year ago. Steve Park and Ken Schrader share row number 8. Kenny Schrader, he was on the Bud pole just 1 weekend ago at Talladega. Look at those flashbulbs just illuminating further this Daytona International Speedway. Sterling Marlin, and give a call to Billy Standridge, guys. He comes to the big tracks, not a full-time runner. He's always in the field.
You're exactly right, and he's doing a Thunderbird, and the rules are really not that good for the Thunderbird. Billy's doing a great job.
Dan Pardis on the right of your screen, a local Daytona favorite in his first NASCAR Winston Cup race. He comes from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series. Joe Nemechek and Kenny Wallace sharing the 27th and 28th starting positions. Michael Waltrip and Dave Marcus, who a week ago had his best finish since Bristol in 1994.
He had a Childress engine then. He has a Childress engine now. He could be very strong tonight.
There you see Jerry Nadeau and Ted Musgrave, 33rd and 34th starters. Wally Dallenbach, he was fast last night in practice, and Rich Bickle in a restrictor plate race. He's missed the other ones this year. There's Jimmy Spencer's T-Bird. Doesn't qualify well, but he might be coming to the front, so he says. Good to see Ernie Irvin. And Johnny Benson had a little problem here last night in happy hour.
The hood blew off that thing in happy hour, damaged the back end of that car. They worked on it, fixed the roof, put a new hood on it, and got him back out in time for happy hour to finish.
And there you see the 43rd starter, Darrell Waltrip, Franklin, Tennessee, as this field gets set to go green. The first time ever under the lights. The Pepsi 400 for the first time ever on TNN. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 is being brought to you by Pepsi, proud sponsor of the Daytona International Speedway and the 1999 Daytona 500. By Ford, the official truck of NASCAR is built Ford tough. And by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. It is just an amazing view from any angle. You know how dedicated the fellows were from Musco Lighting to get this project right? They went through the Richard Petty Driving School to better understand the lights that are required for super speedway racing. That's what you call dedication. Now let's take a look and see what it looks like from the driver's point of view. Wally Dallenbach. Few shadows coming off the wall. What kind of feedback you hearing about that, buddy? And you've driven out here.
Well, you know, we're talking about those shadows off the cars as you see against the wall there. Right down on the outside of the wall there, there's a little shadow there, but nothing like the daytime when you're squinting with the sun in your face going into turn 1. I think the visibility is much better tonight than it is anytime during the daytime.
That's what everybody is saying. You know, it's amazing how well you can see. Look how bright it is from Steve Park's ride.
Looking up at Derek Coates' car there. Let's see, 180 on the water temperature. Yep.
Jeff Gordon climbing the banking here at Daytona International Speedway. All he's got to do is finish 16th or better in the remaining races. And the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship is his. From just down the street a piece, Mark Martin lives here in Daytona Beach, as so many of you know. He's tried his hardest this year to hang right there with Jeff Gordon. It's been so tough. And there you see Bobby Labonte, our Bud Pole sitter, getting set to take the green in this very first race. Such a historic occasion. And you know, NASCAR racing has had so many historical happenings over the last number of years, whether it's new racetracks, new faces, new events. But this really, I think, takes the cake.
Well, everybody's been waiting for this thing for really all year long, and people have been very patient with what happened here in the 4th of July weekend, and the flashbulbs are going as the cars go by the grandstand, and everybody's ready for this thing to happen. Big night.
Those who didn't qualify for this event: Gary Bradbury, Rick Mast, Robert Presley. Tough break for Dick Trickle. After the problems of a week ago, they brought a Thunderbird here, but it couldn't qualify, and Rick Wilson. But you know, you look back, names like Fireball Roberts, A.J. Foyt, they have won here. Donnie Allison, Bobby Isaac, Sam McQuagg, Neil Bonnet, Leroy Yarbrough, Davey Allison. This racetrack just chock full of history. But to win that first Daytona under the lights will put you right there at that top of the list.
Eli, one thing, you can travel anywhere in the world, and they'll ask you, first question, you say a Winston Cup race, they say, have you won at Daytona?
Okay, get ready, pace car is in.
Strap in, folks. Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Enjoy the evening. Here we go. Good scramble up front. Here goes Jarrett, the winner last week at Talladega, with drafting help from Earnhardt. He'll swing to the inside of Bobby Labonte in turn 3.
Jeff Burton had a miserable start there. Jarrett brings him off turn 4, and they head down the front straightaway. He's making his presence known right now. Leading is the best place on super speedways.
13th top 5 start of the year for Dale Jarrett as you ride with Steve Park.
Burton on the high line, just dropping back.
Jeff Gordon riding in 12th. Here goes Earnhardt to the front. The winner of the Daytona 500 back in February. He takes the lead.
And Bobby Labonte drops in the second there with Rusty Wallace just behind him as they head off turn 2.
And typically that big tracks, Jarrett has to work to try and get back in line, and still hasn't.
Dale Jarrett got hung out to dry. You can see he's drifted back to about 7th place now on the outside.
Well, this is Earnhardt's 41st Daytona start. This is the 34th time he has led. He's led almost every race he has ever run here.
He is the winningest driver at this racetrack. Took that title over from the great road racer Hurley Haywood a few years ago. When you count the Busch Series races, the IROC races, the Gatorade 125s, no one has been more successful here than Dale Earnhardt.
Patience a thing right now. You know, the guys back here that are running side by side. Jeff Gordon would love to be up there where they're running nose to tail right now and not have to contend with the car directly on the right side of him.
That double file running starts in 9th. Park in the 1. Jarrett the 88th, the 24 of Gordon. That's 9th on back.
Hearing there was no problem with Jeff Burton's car, just took him a while to get going.
Here comes Bobby Labonte on the outside, making a move on Earnhardt. Rusty's trying to figure who he wants to run with right now. He drops down with the 3 car there of Dale Earnhardt as they go down the back straightaway. Mike Skinner makes it 3, 4, 5 cars down into the corner.
3 wide behind them. All of this on lap number 4. When it sorts out, Earnhardt still has the lead.
got kicked up from underneath Gordon's rear tires.
Riding with Jeff Gordon into the tri-oval there. You can see he's now nose to tail there. Nobody on the outside. That's the way to get around this place. Back here, that's traffic jams.
Burton's still on that high side, still going nowhere with it.
And look at the 30 of Derek Cope. He has broken away from the 2x2 and has caught this front single file track.
Cope could be a threat tonight. He really could. Now, he has run incredibly well. He's finished on the lead lap twice this year. It's the last 2 races. They have gotten their act together in a hurry.
See these guys running. Look at Cope on the outside. That's showing power there. He's moving up on Jeff Gordon as he come off turn 4.
Riding just ahead. He's in 7th. That's that black number 30. Then Gordon and Steve Park and Jarrett. From Mark Martin looking backwards towards Sterling Marlin. A brand new car after the problems of a weekend ago, and he's still in the middle of the pack, guys.
And that 55 car. Hutch Strickland making his presence known there as he's moving up in the 55 car.
That's incredible. Hutch Strickland doing such a job here. An essentially brand new team running as well as he is this early on.
22 Ward Burton. That team gets the sponsorship from Caterpillar next year. MB&A moves on to Joe Gibbs Racing for Busch Series cars. That's for Corey McLenithan's NHRA machine. 6 laps complete.
Eli, it looks like the outside groove's starting to work. These guys are starting to move around back here. It was single file. Now you see the 28 car, Kenny Irwin Jr., kind of called out on the inside as Gordon and all the guys are moving to the outside. Steve Park's trying to get by him on the outside. Boy, what an awesome shot that is. You think this place isn't lit up perfectly? Bobby Labonte's now moved his way into 3rd place. Mike Skinner has nobody there to help him. Here comes Cope on the outside, Eli.
Derek Cope trying to make a bid for 5th. Gordon wondering which way to go. Looks like they're going to leave Skinner by his lonesome down low.
Boy, he's got a lot of horsepower in that race car, though. He's holding his own with Bobby Labonte, and you see he has nobody directly behind him to help him drive.
Skinner went to school last week at Talladega. He led the most laps and wound up 7th when it was all done and over with. Got shuffled back by some of his friends, and he says he has a few debts to repay this evening.
Boy, Gordon's caught on the outside in the 24 there. He's dropping back some.
Field now working back towards the start-finish line. Meanwhile, Wally Dallenbach has problems. Wally Dallenbach with that flat left front.
303 right now, Tony.
So Wally makes what has to be one of the longest rides in motorsports.
Get it back out.
And the one thing he has to worry about is that tire coming apart and knocking the inner panels out of the car.
We are 9 laps in to the Pepsi 400. Daytona at the speed of light is live on TNN. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona is being brought to you by Pepsi, proud sponsor of the Daytona International Speedway and the 1999 Daytona 500. And by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR is built Ford tough. Welcome back, everybody, live at the World Center of Racing. Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. The battle you're watching there is 4th and 5th spot. You see Wally Dallenbach. He has gotten a new Goodyears on, but he is going a lap down, as you see right there.
Derek Cope is driving a very aggressive race. He is not leaving much room between himself and some of those other cars. So far, so good.
Eli, we have to mention this. There is a threat of rain around the speedway here. You see these guys right now, though, they're going at it. They could care less at the moment about anything except trying to get that great track position. You see the 2 car there, Dusty Wallace trying the inside and outside. Nobody went with him. He jumped right back in behind Earnhardt. Nose to tail again.
Let's check in on pit road now and get an update on some other stories developing.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, Bobby Labonte's doing a great job right now staying up in the top 4 for one simple reason. He can't hear on his radio. There's a lot of bleed over coming. You'll never guess the reason what they figured out was causing it. Bobby's son, Tyler, picked up one of the team radios and was playing with it, talking into it. We got caution coming out.
And caution is coming out for some rain showers. Very, very light, but rain showers nevertheless, and it's something you don't mess with at 200 miles an hour. So, caution on the speedway for the first time. It'll be coming out here at lap number 13 of the Pepsi 400. Well, one thing's for sure, we've had a very light appetizer right here of racing, and it's spectacular.
Sure is. We had rain here last night as well during the happy hour session. Delayed it for well over an hour. It was amazing the number of fans who sat in here with, I guess what you would call high fashion at Daytona for the showers. Garbage bags that stretched to the ankles were in vogue last evening. The rain stopped. They got the 15 minutes of the half hour they hoped that they were going to get of that, and it just poured again. But tonight we're not supposed to have any big rain, just a little shower, maybe.
So caution on the speedway here at the World Center of Racing. TNN Motorsports live coverage of Daytona at the speed of light. The Pepsi 400 continues in a moment. Let's go back to 1983. Terry Labonte had the 1983 Firecracker 400 in his sights, but with 2 laps to go, his hopes fizzled. Out of gas, Labonte would drift back to 5th, and Buddy Baker would coast to victory after running out of gas as well on the final lap. It would prove to be Buddy Baker's final Winston Cup victory, and look how well he handles the champagne, folks.
It won't do anything. Oh, boy.
Drunk down a Champagne 101, did you?
What do you expect on my last super speedway win?
Let's go downstairs. There's been a driver change. Mike Hogwood has the story. Mike?
Ricky Craven now in the 36 machine. Ernie Irvan has climbed out. Ernie, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. It's a shame to have to get out, but we're running that in the back right there. Hopefully Ricky can take it to the front.
What can you tell us about this racetrack, Daytona, under the lights?
I don't know. Right now it's lit up really good. There's no problem with under the lights, but nobody has any experience it. So right now we just have to play it by ear.
Ernie Irvan out for the night.
Good to see Ernie here, though, and you'll look ahead to Phoenix and to Rockingham. Both races you'll be seeing right here on TNN Motorsports. You see Darrell Waltrip in the Tabasco car.
Eli, several of the cars back in the field, come back in, took on extra fuel, got new tires. They're going out there and try to make this a 2 pit stop race.
Jimmy Spencer, we talked about him in the opening. There is that No Bull Thunderbird. He started near the back. He's up to 25th position right now. Another guy we need to talk about also. Let's not leave Ken Schrader out of the equation, because Schrader, who was last weekend's Bud Pole winner, is also working his way to the front. He is now 10th in that line of traffic that you see on the screen. He's moved up from his 16th starting spot. There's the man of the hour from lap 2 to this moment, and this caution flag now set to wrap up. Just the lightest of rain shower that quickly passed across the Daytona International Speedway.
Running behind Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace. Hard to imagine considering Rusty Wallace an underdog, but here we really do. In 30 starts here at Daytona, he's got a grand total of 1 top 5. In 30 starts at Talladega, the other restrictor plate track, 1 top 5.
Rodney Wise with the green flag.
Somebody's really on the move on the bottom.
That's Wally Dallenbach trying to use whatever he can after making his pit stop. Weaving his way through traffic. There's Wally giving us the bird's eye view.
What he did, he anticipated the start there and got him a great run. And when you get by the flag, you can do what you please.
Of course, he is 2 laps down right now, Dallenbach is, after the tire problem that brought him to pit road at lap 9. It's tough when you got to make a pit stop that early in the day, because Dallenbach now further drifting back as they scramble all around him on the racetrack.
Furr, the crew chief for the 50 team, we're just getting some information on it, fell off the pit wall when Wally Dallenbach came off pit road. They think he has a broken leg. They have taken him to the infield care center. Randy Thornton will be in charge here in the 50 pits for the rest of the night.
Oh, brother. Of course, Tony was the winning crew chief here a year ago for John Andretti when he picked up the win in the Pepsi 400 for Cale Yarborough Motorsports. But again, Dallenbach a couple of laps down as we zero in on the scramble. Again, Cope in the 30. See if he can hang in there with Park's drafting help in the 1.
Well, you can see Cope moved to the inside. Here's Steve Park pulling up, trying to get in the draft there, but when he dropped weight to the inside there, you see Jeff Gordon got a little bit of a run on him as they started off to turn 4 there. Cope, woo, he got loose coming off turn 4.
Outside. Park qualified with a Richard Childress engine. They had one available for this race this evening, but chose to go with their own, and they have had engine trouble the last 3 races in a row, but I guess they've decided it's all squared away now. They got their own stuff under their own hood.
There you see the spread from the first pack back to the second. It is just a tick under 1 second.
Eli, they need to get single file and run that front bunch down. If they build up a big edge here, this could really hurt these guys as far as track position as they run side by side. It slows them down.
And for the folks who are new to the sport, buddy, we should mention that there is a distinct difference between what we saw at Talladega and what you see at Daytona. The tracks, yes, they look alike, but they're not. One is narrower here. Handling is a difference, and you will see more packs of traffic here, won't you?
Exactly. 33-degree banking in Talladega, 31 degrees here. Just a little less banking, a little narrower here. And it comes to a point, and when you start wearing the tires down, that you actually need handling here, where Talladega, you just run it wide open all day long. Here, you have to really put yourself in great position getting in the corner.
And that was one of the great questions in the garage this morning. Do you go for handling, try to make the car easier to drive, or do you make the car squat down more on the racetrack?
No help.
It's faster when it squats down, but it's harder to hang on to, and the majority of crew chiefs I spoke with this morning said they are going for handling.
Park get the worst news you can get on a big track. No help.
Bob, right up outside, man. We're hugging a little bit right here.
And you can see Dale Jarrett going by. He looked like he's running 15 miles an hour faster as he starts to go by there. No help on this racetrack means steady movement to the rear.
But it doesn't mean the end of the day. Remember last week, Bobby Hamilton started 37th, got up to 5th. Then he went from 41st to 5th later in the day. So you just have to be patient.
Well, Steve Park, you know, is starting out. He's getting a lot of experience on these major speedways, but right now he's hung out by himself. Everybody else is single file now, and they're really getting to go.
There's your top 5. 6th is Jeff Gordon. Steve Burns is in his pit.
Yeah, Eli, and even though he's 6th, he's very happy with his race car. Just before the last car, or the first caution rather, he told Ray Evernham, this car is running great, and I really love to run it on the bottom. And also, Dick, to follow up on your point about handling, this track is more critical on handling than Talladega. One of the crew chiefs told me they just don't get quite the same grip on this racetrack as they do at Talladega.
There's Billy Standridge, one of the Ford Thunderbirds in the field, having problems off the pace, as you can clearly see in turn 3. Laps ago, you'll see what happened to Billy Standridge. Watch that. Dan Pardis there in the 07 about got him.
Pardis did a good job.
So Billy Standridge in for an unscheduled stop here on lap number 20. Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. But we are still early, just 21 laps complete.
On behalf of the Pepsi-Cola Company, welcome to the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. This year marks the centennial anniversary for Pepsi, and for many of those years, we've been associated with the great sport of auto racing. We're delighted that you're here to join us for what we think is going to be a spectacular event, the very first night race in Daytona history. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the race.
There you see Steve Park as we welcome you back live to Daytona, now in 32nd and about to go to 33rd and potentially 34th. But yes, as always, there is a reason why. Watch this turn 4 a few laps ago.
Steve Park on the bottom side, Mark Martin on the outside. Watch the back end of the car as it gets loose. The luckiest man in Florida to continue and not wreck that race car. The back end was way out there.
And now back live with Steve Park. He's in 32nd. You see just to your left there, the nose of Ricky Rudd's Tide Ride. And there is Ricky out set to go by. Johnny Benson will go by. Rich Bickle running there as well. Remember before, the spotter said, Steve, no help. Hasn't gotten any better. Still no help drafting-wise. They'll finally get back in line.
That'll take a little bit of work on the chassis when he makes his first pit stop. I imagine right now he's just real happy he's still in the race, and they can adjust on this car. It's not all crumpled up.
There's Ricky Rudd, started 41st, now running, as you see, in 33rd. Johnny Benson right behind him has those Betty Crocker colors on the car. They were to have run those sponsorship colors here in July. And in this instance, it carried over. Of course, a lot of the teams didn't have that luxury. A lot of the teams had special sponsorships tied to things that were happening in midsummer. Baseball teams and so on and so forth. And those sponsor packages just have to be put to the side.
This so much looks like a daylight race until you look over the top of the wall and you see, in fact, it is night. This thing is so beautifully lit.
The top 12 have now broken away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, but it's going to double up here as you see Gordon looking to the outside as they come off turn 4. They're not really happy. They want to get up there, get those 5 bonus points. Right now, I'm sure Jeff Gordon would love to lead a lap if he could possibly get up there. But right now, he really don't have that much help. You see Bobby Labonte, or that's
Derek Cope right behind him.
Derek Cope right behind him. Right now they're running side by side, and the leaders are moving away.
The front 12, though, even with this double file running, are still 4.5 seconds ahead of 13th place Jeff Burton and the rest of those cars behind him. Hey, there's Schrader in the 33. And he's up to 7th as you ride with Jeff Gordon now in 5th.
Here in the Daytona 500 in February.
Boy, look at Jeff Gordon. Everybody thinks it's a ride in the park. He's working that steering wheel. He knows that draft is so very important to stay in, but he's up on that steering wheel. Clears the tri-oval. Watch his hand movement here. Back and forth. Trying to walk that tight wire as he goes through the dogleg there.
Kenny Irwin in 3rd spot, doing a great job.
Super run for him. Last weekend, the day ended early with engine problems. And he's very much in it. Now watch this. 4 seconds until that group of cars right there. They've peeled back. And look who's leading that next pack. Talking about the old T-Bird and Jimmy Spencer.
Look at Ricky Craven in the 36 running right with Mark Martin. I'm sure Ricky Craven realizes this may have a lot to do with what he does in Western Cup racing later on. He's going to give her a hard ride.
And with the driver change replacing Ernie Irvin, they did not lose a lap. So Ricky's very much on the lead lap at 15th. Let's check back in with Glenn Jarrett.
Hey guys, when Steve Park had his trouble, I had a feeling there might be a reason for him getting so loose on the racetrack. I came down and talked to Felipe Lopez, the crew chief. He is big time loose. He cannot stay in the accelerator. The back end wants to come around. They're talking about making an air pressure adjustment, some wedge, anything they can do to try to tighten the car up. They're just asking him to hang on right now.
That's a handful at this place.
Yeah, no fun trying to hang on at 190 miles an hour at Daytona with all these cars riding around. Loose by himself.
That's really bad.
And his last lap was down to 183 miles an hour compared to Earnhardt and those in the lead draft running 188. So a 5-mile-an-hour difference. You'll find yourself falling way behind and getting lapped before you know it.
Well, you wonder about courage. Remember, this guy got hurt at Atlanta this year. He was also hurt at Homestead. He's hanging right in there despite all that.
160 laps are complete here at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt took the lead at lap number 2 after Jarrett led the first lap. And you see 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on your screen.
top side there. You can see them all trying to get back up on the outside as Dale Jarrett pulls even with him down through the crowd.
I was talking to Doug Hewitt, crew chief on that Derek Cope car. You know, we've gone through like 17 wrecks already this year. It has just been a remarkable number.
Well, they've also been through some tough times of just not being fast and just not being competitive, but they have worked incredibly hard over the last month or so, been to the wind tunnel, done a lot of work with engines, and it is paying off well.
43 started, 42 run. We have problems on the back straightaway.
Down the back stretch.
Number 3.
Moving on the back stretch here. Back it off on the back
See Johnny Benson in the 26th.
Jeff Bodine's in it.
Hut Strickland in the 55.
Bickle in the 98, Green in the 46. Caution. Second time. That is Kevin LePage in the Prime Star machine.
He's coming out.
Little fire.
See Kevin moving.
Rolling on the ground to be sure all the fire's not on him.
Caution, a multi-car accident.
Green.
98 Bickle, Green, Hut Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved. Clearly we saw LePage. Here comes Ted Musgrave.
Tremendous amount of damage to all these cars. Look at the right front corner of Musgrave's car as he slides into the pits.
Yeah, it looks like that radiator's losing some water too.
Jeff Bodine. He has not, of course, as a former Daytona 500 winner, not had good news of late. Knows now that he won't be in that car next year. Michael Waltrip will be.
And he's really got no ride lined up to replace this one either.
Michael Waltrip.
There's Michael. A lot of damage to the Wood Brothers car.
Wood Brothers winning as car owners here at Daytona. They thought they were going to have a great night tonight.
Jeff Green, a tremendous amount of damage to the left front corner of his car.
Rich Bickle in. And again, there's the Hut Strickland car. You see the net is down and he's moving around.
Look at that tire. That come off the right rear of Michael Waltrip's car. What do you fix there? Everything's torn up so badly, they'll just have to make pieces to make that thing. It's wrapped around the rear end house, and you see them snatching on that rubber there, trying to get it off.
Dragging pieces and parts.
Meanwhile, all the leaders will come in for pit stops. Lap number 33 will be pit stops for all the leaders. First to Glenn Jarrett.
And Rusty Wallace brings his car in. Guys, he has done a great job so far. Been glued right to Dale Earnhardt's bumper since the race began, running in second place. He reports the car is just a little bit loose. So in this four-tire change, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, try to tighten him up just a little bit. Here's Mike.
Dale Earnhardt has said virtually nothing during the first part of this race. 4 tires and fuel. That's it for the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
These stops under caution, lap 33.
It looked like Rusty Wallace may have won the war on pit stops there. He leaves Dale Earnhardt off pit road.
That's the same car Rusty Wallace had last week at Talladega. They repaired it, and it is running with the lead right now under caution here at Daytona. Good work by that Robin Pemberton crew.
Boy, just as you said that, Eli, Robin looked at me and had a big smile and winked at me. I mean, they beat Dale Earnhardt out by maybe 2.5, 3 seconds. That might have been one of the best pit stops I've ever seen these guys do, and they have done some great ones. Came at a great time, got Rusty out in the lead. Tell you, he's got a fast race car.
When we come back to the World Center of Racing, we'll take a look at all that's gone on. Michael Waltrip's going to have to come back in again. You saw the big 21 up on the black flag. Now there is what remains of the Prime Star machine, the Ford Taurus of Kevin LePage. Michael Waltrip is on the initial receiving end of the first hit. Let's take you back and show you exactly what happened off the corner moments ago on the backstretch.
Let's all get involved. You see Kevin LePage there getting into the outside wall. Michael Waltrip gets caught, spins around. Everybody coming goes low. Some of them go high, and you can see Ted Musgraves there getting involved.
Jeremy Mayfield just made it through. So did the 4 of Bobby Hamilton. Low was the way to get out of that, but there's no way to tell ahead of time. It is so hard to see when these big wrecks get going. Another view
from turn 3 back towards turn 2.
And you can see visibility's down. You cannot see a thing when you go through. With all the tire smoke and the car spinning round and round, how would you know where to go?
Look at Bill Elliott back there. You saw the golden arches. He just woed it on down.
Experience will do that for you. Picked the right lane, went down low, and just took it easy and managed to get through there without a nick on his race car. Oh, boy. Oh.
But again, Kevin LePage's car you saw alone on the low side of the racetrack. Break loose, clip Michael Waltrip, and the wreck was on.
Jeff Bodine there in the 7. He really tried to go low, and that got him involved. So there wasn't any
Look
set
at
pattern.
Dallenbach just got through that mess, too. I don't know how he saw his way through.
Let's take a look. We're riding
with the camera.
This is what you can see in a major speedway wreck. Nothing. You see right there? What would you do? Listen.
He hit it.
Jeff barely touched the outside wall, and he was lucky nobody was there.
Oh, look at what's left of LePage's car.
Again, this is a replay of earlier. Kevin LePage after the accident. To the infield care center, where we'll have an update for you shortly. Under caution for the second time tonight. The first caution was at lap 13 for a little rain shower. Now a multi-car accident at lap 32. We are back with you here at the World Center of Racing under caution. The Pepsi 400 under the lights for the first time ever, and for the first time ever live right here on TNN Motorsports. The race leader, Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace has led only 96 laps in 43 restrictor plate races coming into this evening's event. Has been an empty plate, hasn't it? Meanwhile, down on the pit lane, Steve Burns checking on some other good runners. Steve?
Hey, Eli, Kenny Irwin has a very fast race car, but they had a little bit of a problem on the last pit stop. They wanted to make some adjustments. Look at here. They taped every one of their pit stops, and the crew was just over here moments ago seeing where they had a little bit of a problem. They did make some air adjustments on the tires, took some tape off the front grille. So again, Kenny Irwin is very happy with this race car. In fact, Eli, they've been trying to keep him calmed down.
Kenny Irwin running 7th right now. Still learning how to communicate with the crew and tell them what that car really needs. Jeff Bodine, he's down near the care center with Mike Hogwood.
Jeff, first of all, you okay? And what happened?
I'm fine. Kevin said he just lost a car, got sideways off too, and we all started running each other. If Goodyear could make a tire that didn't smoke, we could see where the wrecks were. Might be able to miss him, but I just couldn't see where anybody was. My spotters tried to help me, but the Phillips car tried to make a hole through there, but we hit somebody and put us out.
Tough break for you as you wind down with this team.
We had a great car tonight. It was handling great, and we were just trying to get through that pack, and unfortunately we didn't make it. But what a night here at Daytona. History's being made. Wish I was out there.
And Jeff Bodine will not be part of it the rest of the night.
Tough break for Jeff in his 501st career start. You know, a lot of the drivers talk about the big one, referring to the multi-car crashes at Talladega and here at Daytona. Over the weekend, we've been asking a few of the drivers their thoughts about how do you avoid the big one.
Nothing you do about it. You're just out there riding. You know, and you're cruising along. You could be leading. You're cruising along. You could be running dead last, and you could be involved in something. And so it's kind of, you know, it kind of happens enough, or happens. It happens where to the point I think you just understand it. You know, I think it's like, well, here it is, or there it isn't.
You know, you're always in a avoidance mode or survival mode, even if you're already, already had some kind of impact. You're still trying to drive the car. You're still trying to slide it into control, you know, from out of control into control.
9 times out of 10, everything is fine, but it's that one time when, you know, a little something happens, just a misjudgment of the apron or of where another car is, and all of a sudden you're in it. About that time, you know, you're just thinking, man, I hope I get through this. And if you don't get through it, you just hold on tight, and it seems like it takes forever.
Well, he manages to get on through it and held on tight. Jeff Gordon currently running in 5th. Rusty Wallace is the leader. Bobby Labonte is 2nd. Dale Earnhardt 3rd. Dale Jarrett 4th. Gordon is 5th. Skinner is 6th. Irwin is 7th. Then Schrader, Tony Labonte, and Mark Martin.
Ready? Go, go, go. Green flag.
You saw Wally Dolan back in the 50 there. He's trying to get back one of the 2 laps that he lost earlier.
Boy, I tell you, his chances are slim and none right now. You see everybody up there behind the 2 car. Rusty Wallace nose to tail down the back straightaway. He's only going to drop back.
Jarrett there in the number 88 and 4th spot. That's not just the car that won the $1 million last week. Believe it or not, it's the same engine. They took it all apart, put some new pieces in it, put the rest of it all back together. Same car, same motor.
A lot of fellas, though, had to go with brand new equipment like Earnhardt, like Mark Martin. They just couldn't resurrect the machine of a weekend ago.
Eli, Jeff Gordon right now is just running just about a perfect race. You see him behind Dale Jarrett right there, 2 of the fastest cars, and Earnhardt just in front of him. Those 3 cars right now, they're just riding along. They're not worried about it because they know they have great race cars on this racetrack. Bobby Labonte in a second is going to look around, and I'm afraid that Rusty may be in trouble.
58 races now in a row that Rusty Wallace has not posted a victory. There in the 3, you saw him with 1 win in 88 starts now. Look at that pack of traffic.
I was watching Jerry Nadeau in that green car up there. He was completely sideways on the high side, never cracked it, never backed up, just went right on by a car sideways.
Still in the early stages of the Pepsi 400. Rusty Wallace shows the way. A long night's work yet to go. Welcome back, everybody, live on TNN Motorsports. The 40th renewal of the Pepsi 400, and Dale Earnhardt's going to make the outside work if he can. And he can. Dale Earnhardt takes the lead in the Pepsi 400. Jarrett and Gordon may start shuffling Wallace the other way.
Yeah, they're on the outside there, nose to tail, and he's caught to the inside there. He's riding with Gordon as they head through the... Look at the tack there, 6,800. I could read it very well.
They don't turn nearly the RPMs here in the restrictor plate races. That's part of what the restrictor plate does. You just don't crank them up to 9,000 RPM. Oh, it's Gordon working that wheel.
He is, but look what he's under here. He and Earnhardt side by side.
Jarrett sneaks out ahead of the pack, so Jarrett just out of the screen is the race leader. This is for 2nd.
Teammates on the high side of the racetrack. The 3 there, Dale Earnhardt, and you see Mike Skinner moving his way in there. They can hook up and really make it tough on these guys trying to lead.
Looks like they're running the pace lap.
Yeah, at 190 miles an hour. Kenny Irwin in the 28 car was very concerned that no one would run with him because he is a rookie, and he's afraid that some of these guys just don't have the confidence to run with him. And so far, so good. He is still right up in the front group.
You see Craven?
I did.
Did you see the
Craven
36?
now all the way up to 8th place. He is really flying in the 36 car.
You're just joining us. Ernie Irvan started the car. Ricky Craven took over at a very early pit stop at lap 14. He's a good kid, too. You just want to see him do well.
He's a great kid. He really is, and he deserves a top ride in Winston Cup, and he's hoping to get one for next year. So far, he doesn't have anything.
Let's compare Mark Martin's hands now to what we saw earlier from Jeff Gordon, for instance.
You'll have to drop all the way on the left side. When Mark Martin first started racing, he was a very small boy before he started lifting weights, and he got where he would put both hands on the left side of the steering wheel through the corner so he could hold the car, and he never changed his driving style. You know what? It works.
It sure does. It sure does. see if Gordon can make it work with Irwin. Jarrett.
I hope it's not as frightening inside those cars as it is watching here at these speeds running that close together.
Let me tell you, that's heaven right there. For a real race car driver to get out there and run like they're running right now, there's no fear in that group right there. All they don't want to do is make a mistake.
Michael Waltrip is back on the racetrack. He is 15 laps down after the accident of earlier. There are those two T-birds there, Spencer and Little.
Eli, listen to the motors. You could hear them purring down through there, but never lifting in the corners, running wide open all the way around the racetrack.
If it weren't for the restrictor plate races, he'd be a whole lot better off this year. He's really had a tough time starting at Daytona, where the rear end failed. He wound up 38th. He was 23rd at the first Talladega, and of course the big wreck last week. He was 34th. He doesn't like restrictor plate racing at the moment.
His finishes cost him 246 points versus what Jeff Gordon picked up at those exact same races. And when you come down to this time of the season, it really stands out.
Steady mover right now. Kenny Schrader just behind our leaders here. You see him there in the green, number 33, moving up.
There's Schrader. There comes Mark Martin in ninth. The 40 is Sterling Marlin. Never count him out on the big tracks as we ride with Mark Martin.
Kenny Schrader there, as I was talking about, on the outside in the stoll cars. They come down the front straightaway side by side. Now the first three have kind of distanced themselves from the guys that are running side by side.
Remember, folks, back in February when Schrader finished fourth in the Daytona 500, he had that fractured sternum. Remember all that mess? He got involved in the accident with the Gatorade 125s and so on. He said, "I'm happy to be here and to be here healthy."
Yeah.
Oh, he had his neck operated on a Monday and come down here and run a complete 500 here after having surgery. So he's a tough customer. Believe me, he loves to race.
And really, the only reason he didn't win in February, if you ask me, is he had no drafting partner when it counted, if you remember back to the finish of the Daytona 500. There you see the front three having pulled away by 0.6 of a second from fourth place on back. It's getting good at Daytona. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona is being brought to you by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. Welcome back, everybody. You're looking at the race leader, Dale Jarrett, in a scramble for second place behind him. Earnhardt wants to grab it away from Gordon and from Mike Skinner and from Labonte, but it's going to be a big scramble. What happened, a three-car draft, buddy, is, well, forget about that now.
Well, what we have now, we have a two-car breakaway and teammates going at it there. Mike Skinner fighting with Dale Earnhardt down the back straightaway. You can see these guys when they run side by side. The guys out front are going, we're going to do anything but do what they're doing back there, because it's slower when two cars run side by side than when you really have a drafting partner out front.
Look at the 33. Schrader very much in the mix now. Ricky Craven in for Ernie Irvin, riding with Bobby Labonte in fifth.
Look at Earnhardt, how fast he caught those guys after he quit running side by side with the 31 of Mike Skinner. He's right back on Gordon's back bumper.
Schrader having a strong run here tonight.
Ricky Craven there in that purple car on the outside there, filling in for Ernie Irvin. Great job. I guarantee you people right now are saying, you know, we might ought to talk to him when we're thinking about putting somebody in our car for next year.
See everybody moving by Michael Waltrip, who is 15 laps down. That first big pack of cars.
And Michael's car badly wounded. He'll not be competitive for the rest of the night.
Is there anything worse than that, buddy, just riding around?
nothing in this whole wide world, because what you want to do, you want to be up here like these guys that are racing with each other. When you're just riding around, it seems like it's 2 days long.
That was a 4-second break in the traffic right there. Back to this next group of traffic. John Andretti leading it. That's 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And you drop even further back now to Bill Elliott, 6.5 seconds further back behind the race leader. And the next group with Nemechek and Benson and Rudd. That white car in the middle of the picture, that's Brett Bodine. Kyle Petty's in there as we take you back up front. Those are the three big basic packs of traffic. In the garage, Bickle, Musgrave, Green, LePage, Bodine, Strickland, and Standridge. Only Standridge not involved in the accident on lap 32. Some of the numbers in the draft. Like Rusty Wallace there running well, working the low side of the racetrack.
He's got a good car. He just got called out a little while ago. See Ricky Craven there coming off the corner on the high side in that purple car. He and Schrader going at it now.
I want to go back to the infield care center a second, guys. And Hog, what's the deal on Kevin LePage? Have you heard anything yet?
Yeah, Eli, he's getting x-rayed right now. He's getting his shoulder x-rayed. They think it might be broken, and he might have broken it when he dove out of that race car. You remember there were some flames inside of there, and Kevin got out in a pretty big hurry.
So we'll get an update further. That's Mike Hogwood down at the infield care center.
A lot of shuffling around here.
There, though, but how Craven comes out in front of that pack.
There's a guy right there you can never count out in that 40 car. That's Sterling Marlin. Very, very good here at Daytona.
All the way back in August at New Hampshire, I was talking with him about the car. He said, don't worry about this. He said, when we get to those 2 restrictor plate tracks, that's where I'm really going to run, and that is where he has run best throughout his career.
9 top 10 finishes for Sterling Marlin, including 3 wins and 3 second-place finishes in his last 12 Daytona starts. Fairly impressive numbers right here. But the most impressive numbers are the ones those guys are putting up on the board. They're trying to get gone from everybody else. A lot of souvenirs here. We're coming right back. Welcome back. You think you have a great seat? You see that thing on the bottom of the screen?
Oh, that's a bad choice as far as I'm concerned. Make up your mind and make it good.
Well, I guess the Lizard heard all the seats were sold and he just wanted to get close to the action. Hope he got across.
Also gotten close to the action by logging on to country.com, TNN's home on the World Wide Web. It is your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to country.com. Look at Ricky Craven in Ernie Irvin's car battling Schrader for 4th with drafting help.
Oh, he does, and he got a fast car with him. Bobby Labonte's right there, and you can see right now he's cleared Schrader all the way up to 4th. What a great drive. You know, the first time he drove for Hendricks Motorsports down here, they had a 1-2-3 sweep, and he was right up there. Ricky Craven, very good at Daytona.
A magnificent story there for Ricky Craven. Misses about a dozen races this year. Comes back, lasts 4 more races before they part ways, he and the team.
And it's a brand new race car as well. He walked into the garage. He only knew the names of 2 of his crew members, one of them the crew chief, and he has managed to get this done tonight. What an incredible job by Craven.
The other guys he knew as, hey, you.
Would you please?
And they did. Look, the young man's running up in 4th.
But you know, one of the things they did that may have proven to be a good move was they didn't much work on qualifying. They instead worked on the race because they figured if Ernie got in the car to go backwards anyway at the start of the thing, working the night.
We're back in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th on that picture you saw seconds ago. Perry Labonte working his way through traffic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep.
You know, you see those hand signals right there. That's how you can communicate with people you're trying to work in traffic with. You put your hand up. When you want them to follow in line, you put your hand straight up and say, let's keep it all in line here. We're catching these guys that are racing side by side.
That's 12th and 13th. Mark's in 13th. The We've got Ward just ahead of him and Sterling Marlin to the left.
Here he never lifts.
Here's Derek Cope with problems now. Oh, too bad. Derek Cope running in 19th now. Way off the pace. Earlier, folks, if you weren't with us, he was mixing it up right outside the top 5.
Yeah, I was watching that car come through there. He definitely got a problem. He was totally out of the accelerator. If I'm not mistaken, just behind the left front there, I see a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, he might have brushed the wall. Looks like the smoke is going to come off, what, the right rear, probably from this angle. Tough to tell, but he might have just brushed the wall coming off the corner.
He's had a tough time here at Daytona. 4 out of his last 5 starts have resulted in DNFs. But he did win here in 1990.
And now the guys in the truck have come up with the video. Looking for, there he is.
A little wall.
That tells it.
Yep. Good work to pick out that shot right there. And Glenn, he tagged the wall coming out of number 4, right with the right rear.
Yeah, Eli, that's what we're hearing. We've moved down into Derek's pits, and all the guys are standing on the wall waiting him right now. And there's always a bad sign. They got that great big hammer and the softball bat to try to get the thing straightened out for him. He still hasn't made it down pit road, but a lot of long faces here because he had a real good race car.
So his stop will take place under green, while up front you see the front 3. Jarrett took the lead at lap 44. We're now at lap 66. Jarrett led lap 1. Earnhardt led the next 30. Rusty Wallace led a lap. Marcus led a lap. Wallace led 7. Earnhardt led a lap. And now Jarrett has led from 44 through 66. In 1986, Dale Earnhardt was on the lead lap with 9 laps to go on the Firecracker 400 when oil from his blown motor caused him to punch the wall hard in turn 2. Leader Buddy Baker would slide by the incident, only to be bumped by Connie Saylor moments later. That allowed Tim Richmond to take the lead. And Richmond would bring home the victory as he entered the most successful period in his racing career. Welcome back live to the World Center of Racing. Dale Jarrett still leads the Pepsi 400. Hey, folks, you can use your internet access to see live in-car camera views from Jeff Gordon, Mark Funk, and others. Log on to that computer address, tnnracing.com. It's available to you right now. If you're a Ted Musgrave fan, he's back after the accident of earlier. He's 33 laps down, but he's out there nevertheless. And Wally Dallenbach will go a 3rd lap down now, being bypassed by the leaders.
Schrader hanging in there in 4th spot. That's the green car. Running a much higher line than anybody else in that front pack.
It's almost like his car's pushing a little bit, getting in the corner. You see him moving up the racetrack there.
Meanwhile, Kevin LePage has just walked out of the infield care center. Mike, what do you got?
He's right here now, and we'll try to get a word with him. He's explaining his injury.
Went in turn 1, following John Andretti. Come out of turn 2, the car broke loose, prime star torch. I don't know if it was a rookie mistake or somebody took the air off the spoiler. Jack come over and said maybe there's somebody behind me took the air off the spoiler. But, I just hate it for all the other guys. I hate it for my team. I mean, they worked all week long to get this car back together after Talladega. And to come here and destroy the car, pretty frustrated.
Kevin, how's the shoulder?
It's a little tender right now. I definitely won't be playing golf tomorrow, but we'll be ready next week, Phoenix.
All right, Kevin LePage, they say he does have a crack in his scapula. He's a tough race driver. He'll be back next week.
It's certainly good to hear that Kevin LePage will be back next week. Very talented young driver from Shelburne, Vermont. Derek Cope has taken the gum-out Pontiac behind the wall. Repairs will have to continue there. Rusty Wallace, he is led already here this evening. It is in that 6-car pack. Those 6 all on the lead lap.
The team has put in an extraordinary extraordinary effort in their restrictor plate program this year. Last winter, they tested and tested, cut 7 different bodies off cars, working on things. Didn't quit there. They've been to Talladega with Jeremy Mayfield. Our broadcast colleague, Buddy Baker's been through the window of cars in that team as well. Rusty was here testing several nights in the night. Looks like it's working pretty good, huh, buddy?
Looks awful good right now, but you know, Dale Jarrett right now, he just, when he gets out in front, he keeps about the same distance on a second-place car all the way around the speedway. Nobody seems to be able, even with help, to pull up on him right at the moment.
And you know, you think about it, Jarrett has posted 7 finishes of 8th or better in his last 12 visits here. That includes a couple of wins. So he's up front here and won at Talladega last weekend. Certainly not at all a surprise.
I think we all remember when he won his first time here at Daytona, and Ned Jarrett, his father, was able to bring him home on that last lap. One of the most inspiring things I ever watched on TV.
One of the best pieces of broadcasting you're ever going to enjoy. And watch this scramble here. That's the 3rd and 4th. Schrader trying to grab it away from Earnhardt.
Does it. Got it. On the outside. Hard way to go.
Schrader, 10 top 10s here in his last 12 races. Another fine super speedway racer.
He's a fine racer no matter what kind of racetrack it is. You know, you think about it, it's a quarter-mile dirt track or a super speedway like this or half-mile paved, doesn't really matter. Schrader's there.
But the frustration for Ken Schrader of not having posted a NASCAR Winston Cup win since Dover, Delaware, back in June of 1991, it's beyond belief.
Eli, you see him fading the high side of the racetrack. What he's getting, though, he's getting tremendous run down the back straightaway. He's using a little bit wider line. You see Earnhardt, no, he's looking back on the inside. No dice. The 33 is strong, but I tell you what, I don't think he's going to be able to keep running that high line because the guys will get away from him if he keeps doing that.
Terry Labonte there, left of your screen. He's running in 8th. Kenny Irwin behind him in 9th.
This is a second pack. Running a couple of seconds behind, not quite, almost a couple seconds behind. Look at this.
There's Schrader now yielding to Bobby Labonte to his inside.
Yeah, you can only do these things so many times, and everybody goes to school on where you're running really good. You can see right there, Rusty Wallace running directly behind Bobby Labonte down through that back straightaway there. Great car, able to stay right on the apron.
75 laps on the board of 160. Just joining us, only 2 cautions. The retirees are Stanbridge, Jeff Bodine, LePage, Strickland, and Bickle. We are back. You watch a great scramble for second place behind the race leader, Dale Jarrett, coming to the halfway point of the Pepsi 400.
Behind the 3, lines behind the 3.
Listening to Jarrett's radio. He's also planning what to do with $10,000 on the line for the Gatorade Front Runner Award. He'd like to pick that up as they come to the cross flags.
He's looking in the mirror and going, yeah, you guys keep racing side by side.
Halfway home with the Pepsi 400.
Good job. Take care of your fuel.
Might be surprised to see Jeff Gordon running as hard as he is and to be running up front this way when he's pretty well got the point thing locked up with 288 ahead. You might think he'd want to be conservative, but he said he has got a good view of the big picture, which is what they told him to do at Talladega last week when the 6th car went out, Mark Martin. But he said, you know, I get out there and the instincts just take over.
Nothing like those kind of instincts for Jeff Gordon, who tries to pull off yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. Let's go down to his pit area, Steve.
Well, Eli, we were just listening to Ray Evernham talk to Jeff on the radio, and what they're going to do on the next pit stop is remove some tape from the front of the grill. They're a little concerned about the water temperature, but also we can ask Buddy Baker what sort of handling effect that has. They put about 4 strips of duct tape on the grill. They're going to pull one of them off next stop.
Well, what it'll do is, Steve, it'll change the amount of downforce the front end has, of course. But if it's running hot, the benefits of keeping that engine pretty cool will outweigh the amount of downforce you have on the front of the car.
Here's a battle for the lead.
Still downer. The whole line's downer.
Here comes Gordon right along. These guys are working together. You see him getting shuffled back to third place there, Eliza. Comes down off turn 4.
All clear.
So all clear as Jarrett gets back in line, manages to get back in line in third, and the fans who salute Dale Earnhardt see him take the lead again at lap number 82. Rich Bickle has gone back to the garage area. Derek Cope is racing again, but he is 13 laps down if you're a fan of his.
Here comes Schrader on the outside. He's persistent, I'll tell you that, as he puts the 2 car there, Rusty Wallace, in position back.
He's persistent too, the fellow in that black number 3. What a run he is having tonight at Daytona.
Dale Earnhardt, the winner of the Daytona 500, still out there, a great champion, wearing that open-faced helmet of his. We asked him about it this weekend. Why do you still wear that?
I'm more comfortable in it. I can feel the air around the car. I can feel when the car's under me, the air changes, you can hear better. I don't know, it's sort of driving by the seat of the pants, kind of old-style racing, I reckon, but just what I've really got used to. I've tried the full-face helmets. I've tested with them. I tried to engineer one that I could wear that would be comfortable or give me the vision and give me the feel and the sound that I wanted, but just never was comfortable with them, so I never have evolved into that.
We talked about it this weekend, buddy. A lot of folks, if you've never driven, you don't quite understand what he's talking about when you can feel that air.
It's very simple. You've had the window down when you pass the truck on the interstate.
Sure.
You can feel the pressure inside the car change as you go by the truck. The same thing happens when a car pulls up on the inside.
He has extraordinary peripheral vision as well. He can see cars coming up, and spotters here are a bit of a problem. It's really difficult for the spotters to make the call, so the drivers have a lot more responsibility in that regard. Open-face helmet may prove to be an advantage for Earnhardt tonight.
31 times he's been to victory lane here. Here's a good scramble for 11th now as Sterling Marlin in the 40 tries to grab the spot from Ricky Craven, who's subbing for Ernie Irvan in the 36.
Here.
So they make that swap easily enough. Mike Hogwood's been down in the Ernie Irvan, Ricky Craven pit area all night.
Brian Pemberton just told me that Ricky Craven says the car can be even better. He thinks it is way too loose. They're going to tighten it up on this pit stop coming up in a couple of laps. Ricky Craven says then he thinks he could go up and contend for this thing.
Well, we'll find out certainly. He's running in 12th right now. Everybody pitted at lap number 33. We're now at 85, so closing in on pit stops here at the World Center of Racing. We'll cover it all for you. Daytona at the speed of light. Tonight live on TNN Motorsports. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by AT&T. It's all within your reach. Jeff Gordon is the new leader of the Pepsi 400. 12 times he has raced here at Daytona. He has led the race in 11 of those 12 events. He made the move around Dale Earnhardt at lap number 87, bringing Schrader with him to second, and here's what happened just a half lap ago.
You see him power by on the inside of Earnhardt, and he gets some help from an old teammate there, Ken Schrader. He goes with Gordon on the bottom, meaning one thing, Doctor, that Schrader can run anywhere he wants to. He can run low if he wants.
He just proved that. But there he is, back upstairs again. Maybe the car is happier up there.
Maybe the car thinks Harry Gant is driving.
Well, it's green. Maybe it does. It's the green Skoal car. Harry Gant for many years ran upstairs in cars that looked just like this one.
Well, it's not very long until we start thinking about pit stops, and I'm sure Gordon said, hey, I've got a shot here. I better take it.
So he grabs his 5 bonus points. Running right now, the lead pack is tied tightly together by 0.7 of a second from Gordon back to Wallace. And you've got a half second further back to the Labonte brothers. In the middle of all that, Kenny Wallace in 14th, Nadeau in 15th, Andretti in 18th. Super run for those fellas here tonight. Andretti, of course, a winner here just a year ago. Led 113 of the laps here a season back. Sterling Marlin, Jeremy Mayfield, that's 11th and 12th on your screen. 13th now. That is Ricky Craven in Ernie Irvin's car, 4.5 seconds behind the race leader. Then you drop back 5 seconds further back, and you'll finally get to the lap machine of Brett Bodine. Earnhardt is the new leader because he stays on the track while others make pit stops. Pit stops at lap number 92 for most of the race leaders. Gordon is in. Labonte is in. That's Terry Labonte. Martin is in. Ward Burton is there. Let's go down to see Burns.
And Jeff Gordon's in. They're going to change right side tires on the DuPont Chevy right now. They went to look at the tape on the front of the grill. So far, they have not. Now they removed the tape off the front of the grill. The water temperature has come down. When he took the lead, he got out in clean air. Left side tires are on, and Jeff Gordon is down in 19.5 seconds.
Here come others leaving the pit lane behind them. The drag race is on while Ricky Rudd enters pit road. So does Park and Pardus. Kyle Petty is in for his service. All of this taking place at lap number 92. Dale Earnhardt currently the race leader. Johnny Benson just ahead of him has already been in on the 26. Johnny's been in at lap number 86 some 5 laps ago.
Well, if the caution was to come out right now, you could see Jeff Gordon going a lap down to Earnhardt, who's been out on the racetrack. There's Gordon right there. He likes that. He's 1 full lap behind right now.
Shades of Talladega last week.
Again, 3 is the leader. 88, Jarrett is second. Bobby Labonte also out there running in third. Glenn Jarrett, what are they saying about the strategy to stay out while the others pitted?
Well, guys, on about lap 85, Bobby Hutchins from the 3 car came down to the 88 car, and he talked to Todd Parrott. What they're trying to do, they got Earnhardt to drop back when Gordon went by him so DJ and Earnhardt could run nose to tail. The reason that Earnhardt's following that lap car now, they're trying to save fuel so they can go to lap 97. If they go to 97, they have run 66 laps on fuel, and there's 1 lap less than that to go when they return to the racetrack, only 63 laps. So they're trying to make it to 97. Both Earnhardt and Jarrett think if they do that, they can make it on just 1 more stop. They're trying to save fuel right now. They're encouraging them both to watch the fuel,
You can see right there, though, the new tires are really, really working for these guys as they come up through there. Jeff Gordon's picking them off. He went by Dale Jarrett not long ago. Now he's put Earnhardt down. He is moving. I'm telling you, he's flying out there with new tires.
Bobby Labonte, though, being shown as the race leader right now. There he is at the head of that line. If you're a Jeff Green fan, after the accident of earlier, he's back on the racetrack. 61 laps down. That's where Jeff Green is running. As you see the race leader, Bobby Labonte, in the middle of a series of pit stops under the green here at the World Center of Racing, and it's all live on TNN Motorsports. By Texaco. There you see the numbers. Average speed of 161 is still some 12 miles an hour off the record pace set by Bobby Allison in a Mercury here back in 1980. But nevertheless, only 2 cautions slowing this evening's activities. Pit stops are continuing now, as you see those who are officially done for the evening, all with the exception of Cope and Standridge as a result of the accident of earlier. There's a story on Dale Earnhardt's car. He came into pit at lap 97. The nose of the car was pristine. But watch what happened as he was leaving pit road. Watch this.
See this tire right there? Look at the front end now. He knows it's there. He starts wiggling the car, trying to make it go one way or the other. It's bending the front of the car in. Right here, it gets rid of it. But look at the damage to the nose of that car. That may really hurt that car when he gets up to speed.
Mike Hogwood, what are they saying? How significant is the damage?
The damage is significant. They're pulling a new nose piece out from under the tarp back here. I believe Dale Earnhardt's going to have to come back in here.
How about that? Dale Earnhardt trying to make the Daytona double for this year.
What he needs to do right now is find somebody, get directly behind him, and then it does not matter that much right on the nose of the car, but he needs to get a drafting partner and follow as closely behind him as he possibly can.
The race leader now is Jeremy Mayfield through this cycling around of pit stops. If you're curious, the last time one driver won both the Daytona 500 and the Pepsi 400 in the same year, Bobby Allison back in 1980. Kenny Irwin right now being shown in 11th spot. And there's your leader, the 24, Jeff Gordon, putting a lap on Kyle Petty and following Ricky Rudd around the racetrack. Those gentlemen, Rudd and Petty, 25th and 26th respectively. Bobby Labonte in the 18. Skoll car is Schrader. Jarrett right there watching as well.
No surprise as we approach the end of this race. Laps are winding down to see that 24 car in the lead.
Boys, don't count that 3 car out. He's got damage to the front, but he's directly behind these guys. Tucked right up the back bumper there, the 33 car, Kenny Schrader. He's taking her home. Look at this, right up under him.
There you see the nose of that Chevy Monte Carlo. It's from Bobby Labonte's onboard cameras.
And it's really pushed up. When you think about all the effort they put into these cars at the wind tunnel, a 16th here or there makes a huge amount of difference. And you can see that this is a lot more than a 16th. This is feet that are messed up.
But he's going right by the guy whose tire he collected.
Down on the bottom side, you can see right now, though, he's giving up a little bit getting in the corner. As you can see, Jarrett and him run right up on him there, getting in the corner. Push it off the corner there.
See that? Couldn't keep it rolling down low. And Glenn, that could be the story as they work off the corners.
Oh, absolutely, guys. You know, as long as he keeps the nose of his car tucked right up behind somebody else, that air dam doesn't make any difference because he's not breaking any air up. It's not hitting that spoiler. It's when he gets in the corner and gets up high out of the grasp of another car. That's when it kills him. That's taking air off the nose. It's reducing the downforce on the car. It's going to make it push. As long as he's stuck right up somebody's tailpipe, he don't have a problem. When he's running in clean air by himself, that's where it's going to hurt him.
Good point from Glenn Jarrett down on the pit lane. We are at lap 103. You see just 57 to go. A spectacular night here at the World Center of Racing. It's the first time ever that the 2.5-mile tri-oval has been lit for racing. And it's Jeff Gordon showing the way. Back in a moment.
On the football field.
It's off the number 2 NASCAR Winston Cup race. He's from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series. And caution is on the speedway. Caution, lap 106. That man, Dan Pardus, spins off the corner.
Eli, you can see him moving around inside the car there. That's always a good sign.
We do have a full look at what happened for you. Last car in line.
You see the back of the car just start around on him, down on the flat part. Now watch it go back up the racetrack. Right there. Ooh, I'm telling
Kenny
you,
Irwin.
Kenny Irwin running in 11th, just did miss.
Well, Irwin may be a rookie, but that was a veteran move. Pardus has it running. Not that badly damaged either.
So Dan Pardus brings out caution for the 3rd time today. Now, before he spun, we were giving you that Aflac trivia question. Folks in Aflac wanted to know when and where was the very first NASCAR Winston Cup restrictor plate race run?
Well, I'm not going to answer because I know, but you know what? Go ahead.
No, I'm sure you know.
I think it's Michigan.
Indeed it was.
Okay.
Michigan Speedway. lot of folks say, what? Didn't think there was anywhere except Daytona or Talladega.
See, I told you sometimes I
do know. He knew it all along. Took caution for the third time here at the World Center of Racing. Pit road is open. We'll take a look at all the top runners as they come down the pit lane. These stops will be at lap 107. All the leaders are coming in. Gordon, Mayfield in second. Earnhardt next in line. Mike Hogwood.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is in, and they are cleaning the windshield, putting 4 tires on them. Behind the toolbox here, they are still putting tape on a nose piece. They hope to put the bottom piece of the nose on. It is not ready yet. Bobby Hutchins has told me that they have worked hard to try to get this done. They're pulling out the nose. Now they're seeing if they can pull it out a little bit. They have got it out just a bit. The Steve Burns.
And Jeff Gordon comes off pit road, just narrowly misses Jeremy Mayfield. 4 tires from the 24 car and fuel, and they should be able to go the distance from this point. We'll double check with Ray Evernham.
Well, pit stops taking place here at lap 107. The work continues. Bobby Hutchins, the man at the front right there, doing the work as they get the nose of Earnhardt's Monte Carlo back in shape. Welcome back to the World Center of Racing. Folks, hope you've had a chance to race into the all-new and official store of NASCAR. NASCAR Thunder, now open in cities all across the country. If you want to know where the store is closest to you, just call the number you see on the screen. That number operational Monday through Friday. They'll give you all the details you want. Want something that's operational 7 days a week, 24 hours a day? That computer online address, NASCAR.com. That's the homepage for NASCAR Online, your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. Details from Daytona, from St. Louis. Tomorrow's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race that you'll be seeing here on TNN. They've got the latest doings from Bakersfield, California. Check it out, NASCAR Online. Dale Earnhardt's been back in for another stop here at lap number 108. More work on the nose of his Chevrolet. Meanwhile, there is your leader, Kenny Irwin. Remember how close he was getting caught up in Pardis's spin up there, fellas?
Boy, he could have been out of the race just as easily as he's leading the race right now. Jeff Burton right now is running in second. Joe Nemechek. We have a new cast of people, and Bill Elliott all the way up to 4th now.
There is Jeff Gordon. He's running back in 9th right now.
Teammate right behind him.
What a year for Jeff Gordon. It really has been a dream season, hasn't it? 10 wins. 29 starts. The numbers are just spectacular. No, in 1975, remember that? The King, Richard Petty, 13 wins and 30 starts. 21 top 5s, and he won the title by 722 points. You know what he won that year, guys? $130,275. That was the point championship. Then you see some bonus dollars thrown in. Look at that comparison. Let's go forward to DW. Darrell Waltrip with 12 wins and 31 starts in 1981. He won the title by 53 points over Bobby Allison that year. Check out the monies there. Gordon already this year versus what Darrell won for all of 1981. It gets better. That guy, Earnhardt, 1987, won the title by, 489 points over Bill Elliott, 11 wins, 21 top 5s. The Intimidator, couple of $1 million and change. That's not that far away. That's 11 years ago, guys. That's all.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you step out of the so-called modern era, the greatest season ever was, of course, 1967 by Richard Petty. Folks, remember that year? 27 wins. 27 wins that year. 38 top 5s in 48 starts. At one point, 10 wins in a row? And his paycheck for that whole season was $130,000.
Well, the other night, Winston was in the media center and announced they're going to redo that No Bull 5 program. The guy with the biggest grin, guess who?
I bet.
Gordon.
Green flag is in the air. We're back to work at lap 111 of 160.
Remarkable run by Kenny Irwin. rookie, 1998, hasn't finished at Talladega either race, an engine failure at both. Here he is leading at Daytona.
Whoa, Jeff Burton looking on the outside. I thought he was going to make it 3 wide as he come off turn 2. He'll go down the back straightaway. Right now, Steve Park is trying to make up a lap on the inside there. I don't think so. He's caught out of line. You can see right there. There's our new leader.
Kenny Irwin, third race he has led this year. He led 113 laps in Atlanta back in March. He led 1 lap under the lights in Richmond back in early September. And now here tonight at the World Center of Racing. Jeff Burton second, Nemechek third, Bill Elliott fourth, Schrader fifth, Lloyd Burton is sixth, Rusty Wallace seventh, Mayfield is eighth, Jeff Gordon ninth, Terry Labonte is 10th. What a weird year for Kenny Irwin. I mean, this is the first race in Charlotte. Has a great run the second time around, but the first speed down the stretch.
Goes to Atlanta and looked like he may win the race there until right near the end of the race. Had a pit stop to put him back, but right up front all day long.
Then last week he runs a handful of laps. That's all at Talladega. And now here he is leading late in the evening. There's Earnhardt with that fixed up nose piece.
And his teammate right behind him to help him through all that traffic.
They're back in 21st and 22nd spots respectively there.
You know, you heard Glenn at the first part of the day talking about people making deals. Right now, team cars are beginning to, if you notice right now that Jeremy Mayfield right along there is leading Rusty Wallace. These guys are starting to use their buddy system a little bit.
Let's see what happens here. Schrader's thinking about doing something.
Whoa!
He'll grab second. Burton's out of line.
How about
will be bypassed by his brother also.
How about first? Look at Schrader on the high side there, and right behind him Ward Burton. Down on the bottom side, you can see the team cars of Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield.
Middle of that pack near the back, 3 wide as they come to the stripe. Irwin again by inches. Irwin by inches at the stripe.
Teammates all over this place. You're right, buddy. The 24 and 5 are hooked up. The 2 and the 12 are hooked up. No teammates right up front there, though. Irwin, the 28 car, your leader.
I don't know if the apron was ever made to be raced on, but they're certainly using it here tonight.
Yeah, they are.
I've been down there, believe me. That is not car friendly.
No, it's not. Look at Jarrett. Fire by to the inside. He'll make it work there. Grabs a couple of spots.
You know who he's looking at on the high side there. You see he knows Gordon's right up there. Gordon's really quick.
Top 5, Irwin, Schrader, Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Jeremy Mayfield. That's how they run, Glenn.
Yeah, Eli, I think let's put it in perspective. On that last pit stop, Kenny Irwin, Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, Bill Elliott, and Ken Schrader all came in with everybody else. They only took 2 tires. That's how they got out in front of everybody else. Ward Burton did not change tires. He took fuel only. The rest of the guys, Gordon, Jarrett, the 12 car, the 2 car, those guys, they took 4 tires. That's why they lost so much track position to begin with.
I believe the guys are finished sitting in line.
How about a Tarzan sound? Do you hear it? That 24, Jeff Gordon, went all the way down to the grass there on the bottom part of the racetrack. You see him just eating these cars alive.
Yes, sir, with a championship at stake, Gordon is driving a conservative race tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mark Martin's back in 12th. Look at that. Jarrett trying to...
There was a little contact there. I think what happened there was you could see Gordon move to the bottom and then move right back out, and he got touched on the right rear corner there by Jarrett. I got stumbling around there. I got excited.
Got Chad Little running in 15th right now, having picked up 5 spots of late. Haven't talked much about Spencer. His T-Bird's back in 21st right now. What are we checking on pit road with Steve Burns, Steve?
Eli, I went to Ray Evernham after that last caution 7 or 8 laps ago, and he said that was a huge break for them because they could not have made the rest of the race on gasoline, but they can now because of that last caution when Dan Pardis had trouble.
So turn turns out to be a big break right there for Jeff Gordon. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace, who ran as high as 8th at one point last Sunday in Talladega, is now headed to the garage area. And if he doesn't come back out, it'll be his 13th DNF for the year. And it's getting a little dicey now.
Yeah, it's showtime. The dress rehearsal's over. These guys are starting to push each other around, making 3 wide down the back straightaway. As you can see here, these guys are going after it every way they can right now. Earnhardt kind of mired up in traffic at the moment.
Last lap for the...
His crew definitely deserves the trophy for the hardest working crew. They have been under that car, over that car, inside that car. They left here last night when the garage closed. Every one of those guys looked like they had rolled around in the oil and the mud and the dirt because they had.
Eli's had a beautiful shot as these front guys go down the front straightaway here from the helicopter cam. I tell you what, that is beautiful, beautiful racing.
Unbelievable. Rusty Wallace starting to work on Kenny Irwin now, inside, outside. Is he more messing with him and messing with the rookie's mind right now, buddy?
Well, I tell you who looks strong to me. You look at the 4th place car of Jarrett right there. He's looking right now. He's thinking about, if I could just get to my teammate right now, one of us would make this thing a little tough for these guys to get by us.
Jarrett this year 34th here at Daytona, 3rd in the first Talladega race. A winner last weekend in the Winston 500, and running in 4th right now, lap 118 of 160, while the Kingsman Andretti is running in 20th. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. And by Jiffy Lube. Drive in, drive out, drive on. There is the lead pack. Gordon now running in 2nd with Jarrett in 3rd. They shuffled Mayfield and Wallace before. Rusty tried his darndest to get back in line, but let's see what Gordon wants to do. He'll make the low side work. He led from lap 100 through 106.
You see Jarrett going with the 24 there as they go down the back straightaway. They should just move him right on back to about 5th or 6th spot before he gets back in line again.
So Kenny Irwin gets shuffled out of the exchange there. Gordon takes the lead, lap 122.
See Jeremy Mayfield there and Ward Burton in the 22. They're working a little bit together on the low side of Kenny Irwin. What a great car Kenny Irwin has, though. He pulls right over the deck lid in the 12 car Jeremy Mayfield.
What a smart job of driving that race car as well. Handled himself extremely well tonight, given his very limited drafting experience.
Here's Rusty Wallace a little while ago getting shuffled out of the draft. Nobody would let him in.
Not even his teammate.
There's certain things your teammate just can't do, and one of them back off when he sees a guy. See him move up, try to help him right there.
We're going to have caution on the speedway for a rain shower out of the corner.
Caution out for rain in 3 and 4.
You hear the drivers being told by the spotters, caution for rain.
Think it's rain. Okay, the leader's got it.
And Rodney Wines, native of Delaware, atop the flag stand, and there you see some of the rain falling. Interestingly, in turn 3 and 4, the NASCAR officials in turn 1 and 2 saying that right now it's dry out that way. I remember one time, it's got to be 15, 16 years ago, and I was working for MRN Radio, and I was broadcasting on a tower out there in turn 3 and 4, as dry and as comfortable as could be. And Barney Hall, who still anchors on the MRN broadcast, he was working turns 1 and 2. And all day he kept going up and down his tower because the rain kept hitting in that one end of the speedway only, and then keep throwing the caution. And I never got a drop of rain down the other end of the back straightaway. And all day I just watched Barney going up and down the scaffold up. And thankfully that wasn't me. But so yeah, seeing rain at one end of the speedway is not unusual here at the World Center of Racing.
Center our lens there as well. Yep, see it?
There you see now the rain coming over towards the main straightaway now. We had a little delay for rain back at lap 13. A caution came out for a lap or two. Lap 32, a multi-car accident on the back straightaway when Kevin LePage lost the car. Others involved were Rich Bickle, Jeff Green, Hutch Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved, Ted Musgrave, Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Wally Dallenbach. Then Dan Pardas spun at lap 106, and now rain here at lap 122.
See them putting the tarps down there to keep the pit lanes as dry as they possibly can.
Of course, pit road is also open. Dale Earnhardt is going to make a stop. Also coming down the pit lane will be Joe Nemechek. So they'll pull those tarps quickly. Mike Hogwood, back to that nose they go.
Yeah, and Bobby Hutchins and Kevin Hamlin go back to work on it. They want to try to make this car perfect because Dale Earnhardt had shot back up through the field. He made it back up into the top 10 before this caution came out. And Dale's telling them, that, you know, we still got time. We can do this thing if we get the car exactly right. So they're trying to get that nose perfect so that they can get it to go through the air absolutely the way Dale wants it to.
In the background, you see Brett Bodine's car with the hood up. He is in. Joe Nemechek is in. Wally Dallenbach in for service. The other teams, though, can go the distance. Again, if you're just joining us, when everybody stopped at lap 107 and lap 108, they took on tires. Those who chose to, they filled it up with 76 racing fuel, and they're all able to go the distance from there. Rain shower crossing the speedway here in Daytona. We're going to break away and take care of some business. More on TNN. Just a car right now. John Andretti is 12th right now. The winner of this race a year ago when he led some 113 of the 160 laps. Now the field about to go back to work. They've gotten the 1 to go signal. This little rain shower having wound down.
Doctor, you see Kenny Irwin right there in the 28 car. He had problems. He made his pit stop and had to come back in. He had a left rear going flat.
Steve Burns has the story. Steve?
Yep, Eli, here's the tire. You can see right here inside the circle, just a small cut on the tire, the left rear tire of the 28. When he got shuffled out of the lead a little while ago, that's why the thing was starting to go flat. You can see there's very little pressure in it.
So that was the story on Kenny Irwin. The unscheduled stop drops him back to 19th position as the field forms up for the restart. Glad you're with us. Eli Gold, Dick Bergman, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood, and the entire TNN Motorsports team. As for Dale Earnhardt, he's running on the lead lap at 22nd. Glenn, how are the repairs now?
Looks like they got it just right, Eli. They came back in every lap under that caution. Now he'll be at the tail end of the lead pack, but he has drafting partners. His teammate Mike Skinner came in for another adjustment. Also, Kenny Irwin, a good fast car, and Jeff Burton just came in and changed 4 tires. So he's got 3 good cars back there to help push him back to the front. Got some good guys to run with to come back up through the pack.
Well, we'll all find out together as the field gets set to go back to green after this little delay for a brief rain shower.
In 4, I will. About every 5 laps. Ready? Nice, smooth ready. Green. Green flag. Green flag.
Now, Rich Bickle makes his way to the garage as we ride with Steve Park, and let's listen to the action here at Daytona. sights and sounds of the World Center of Racing under the lights with 30 laps to go to settle this Pepsi 400.
And it will be interesting to see if those cars in the back of the pack on the lead lap that took fresh tires are able to run the leaders down. They've got time.
You can see the obvious problem right now, though. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Sometimes they even try to make it 4 wide. Through the corners, of course, 2 wide. But right now, getting by everyone, that's the problem.
That's 13th on back. Spencer in 13th spot with the 3 wide scramble, and Freddie and Johnny Benson joining it. And Freddie's on the lead lap in the 43. Benson in that red 26 is not.
And that middle is not a comfortable place to be at all. Less so here. Less so here even than Talladega.
Now Nadu in that yellow 9 is only lap, and he and Spencer got together. Meanwhile, in 5th position on back, they'll shuffle Ward Burton out of the picture. And back again to 12th and 13th position. What it looked like. Spencer and Nadu. Bam.
Lightly touched there. You could see Spencer's car, the 23 there, the second car on the right there, getting really sideways off turn 2.
That could have been big. That could have been really big.
Up front, Jeff Gordon still shows the way. Everybody right there with him on the lead lap. This Pepsi 400 far from over.
Steve's band had its first.
Sponsored by Budweiser. Average speed having dropped now with that slight caution for rain. 2 of the 4 caution periods have been for rain. And there you see those in the garage. You can also add to that list Kenny Wallace, who has taken his machine, and now Rich Bickle officially out for the evening. Glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from Mesa Marin Raceway, Bakersfield, California, also here on TNN. Middle of the field, Spencer's on the move in 14th with Earnhardt to his inside in 15th. They'll swap that around a while. Those two love racing with each other. Chad Little, that's green and gold 97. That's a Thunderbird.
And you know, believe it or not, for the luck Jack Roush has had on the restrictor plate racetracks this year, the 3 races run so far, Chad Little has been his top driver in 2 out of the 3, his 7th and an 8th.
Kenny Irwin at the head of that pack right there. Second car in line now behind Skinner. Skinner's 12th. Irwin is in 13th. There's Chad Little. Up front, meanwhile, they're closing in on Gordon. Whole pack of traffic here now just 3 1/10 seconds behind Gordon. They were 4.5 seconds back a while ago. Chance car looking to want to break loose there on the low side of turn 4, didn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of going with one of those more aggressive setups in the car, and it's definitely white knuckle time.
And it's also a Thunderbird, as you said a while back, Eli. And those cars normally are great race cars in a race, but right now they're not faring too well, as you see Jimmy Spencer dropping another spot.
And there's the spread from that pack down what they call the super stretch, the back straightaway, up to Jeff Gordon. That's what 2.8 seconds looks like on this Daytona International Speedway.
Taking a look on the outside there in the 5 car. You see him on the high line there. His brother directly behind him. These guys are wanting to rumble right now.
You see that computer address. You can log on, get the onboard in-car pictures as we head towards the finish of this Pepsi 400. TNNRacing.com. Check it out. It's available to you on the World Wide Web right now. There's the rundown. Upper left of the screen. Schrader hanging in. Ward Burton doing a good run. Raven back up to 9th. And there's the, hey, brother, can you spare a draft?
Very good.
Neither one ever won here at Daytona.
Terry Labonte, ahead of Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte has posted 3 top 10s in the last 4 races altogether.
Now we're watching the front group right here run nose to tail. Just behind them, Mark Martin. There's a little interval between these guys. He kind of broke away from them. Mark Martin and Mike Skinner now are coming up.
And realistically, if Martin can pull down a top 10 on a big track like this, I think he'll take it and head back to the house, please.
Oh, yeah. After the year he's had on the restrictor plate tracks.
You see him. He's begging them to stay in line. Don't make it too wide here. We're catching the leaders right now. You're looking back at Mike Skinner going into turn 3, keeping a very low line right down on the white line around the corner.
22 laps to settle it. Jeff Gordon took the lead at lap 122. We're now at lap 138. Still anybody's race. Back in a moment. The caution is out here at Daytona. An accident on the back straightaway multi-car involving Spencer, Kenny Irwin, John Andretti, that man Steve Park, Jerry Nadeau, Ricky Rudd, among others. Irwin's car right there taking the worst of the lick. He was already talking to his crew on the radio. We were eavesdropping. Far from pleased, as you can expect. He had a super run going.
So disappointing to put your heart and soul into what you're doing and then have a problem.
That's Steve Park through the silhouette look. There's Spencer. You see the roof flap having deployed there.
Also, the right front corner has damage on it.
John Andretti got a piece of it.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Like John may have been hit from behind because the left rear quarter panel's been out just a little bit.
I told you Ricky Rudd was involved.
Stop in the box, buddy. You want that windshield tore off there? Got that for.
There's Ricky with the damaged nose of the Taurus. There's Jerry Nadeau. We mentioned he was involved.
A lot of damage to Nadeau's car.
Ricky Craven is also pitted for 4 tires. Oh, boy, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo has seen better days.
The aerodynamics of that car could be improved severely.
Let's take a look at what happened to bring out this 5th caution. Irwin and Little.
Chad Little in the 97 got into the back there. The 28 just barely.
Looked like the 28 was trying to get by him. They were side by side when that all started, and it looked like 2 guys trying for the same spot.
Of course, remember, Steve Park has an onboard camera. Let's see what we can see here. He had nowhere to go, and he just took a shot.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah.
And again. And again. And again.
Oh, man.
Steve Burns, Robert Yates, and those guys have to be crestfallen after the great run that Irwin was having.
Yeah, you lied. Robert Yates just watched the replays. First of all, have you talked to your driver, Kenny Irwin?
Yeah, he's okay. You know, he's certainly discussed it a little bit with what happened, but you know, he was getting ready to go with the 99 and pull up, and there was a gap, and by the time you know, he made his move to get up, you know, there wasn't enough room there, so something we learned. We'll be better next time. We had a good car, a great car.
Tough break for Robert Yates.
They did have a great car. He said a mouthful right there. A tough break for Robert Yates Racing. Steve Park, they're going to bring that Pennzoil Chevy back towards the garage area. Attrition rate growing a bit now. Billy Standridge, Jeff Bodine, Kevin LePage, Hut Strickland, Rich Bickle, Derek Culp, Dan Pardis, Kenny Wallace, Kenny Irwin, You saw Steve Park, and there's Dale Earnhardt back in again, Mike Hogwood.
Well, that nose that they put on, it's taped on, and it keeps caving in a little bit. You see him going back to work on it. They're going to try to put some bolts in it to give it a little more stability. Dale Earnhardt says the car is great as they put 4 new tires on it. Now it's a question of time. Does he have enough time to move back up through the field?
I can tell you one thing he does have. He has an advantage having fresh tires on that race car. If that nose does not cave back in, you can see how flimsy it is as he hits it with his hand there, trying to get the tape to really stick well on that front part of Dale Earnhardt's car.
It's not a lot of structural integrity in tape, though. And it just, it's real wobbly.
Hey, you guys have any pets at home?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have 2 wonderful dogs.
I've seen your shop dog. We've got a dog and a cat.
Well, I did have a pet until about 60 laps ago.
Was that your...
That was Louis. That was Louis the Lizard, and he's gone.
Well, it's a tough life. It's a tough life. We're at lap 144 of 160. The Pepsi 400 down to its final laps. Don't you dare leave us. We're back in a moment. Lead changes among Jarrett and Earnhardt and Wallace and Marcus and Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte. Jeff Burton has led. So too has Kenny Irwin. Those drivers all done for the night. From early engine failure for Billy Standridge to Derek Hope tagging the wall to engine failures. That is the attrition list here in the Pepsi 400 at the World Center of Racing. Next week, Phoenix International Raceway. The Winston Cup Series will be there, and so too will we. Then on to the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And again, TNN Motorsports will be there. Then the season winds down at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's amazing. It seems like we were just here for Speed Weeks, doesn't it? I mean, this year just flies by.
And they go by faster and faster, it seems, as time goes by.
Yeah, the older you get, the quicker it goes.
Yeah, it's true. Meanwhile, Earnhardt is pitted yet again.
Earnhardt, they're working on his car. Reason we're under caution, and this is what happened back at lap 140. Panning ahead to Kenny Irwin right there with Chad Little.
Just about had him cleared.
Almost.
John Andretti gets tagged there, turned to the infield. You could see the dirt fly.
Steve Park tags the wall.
Remember what Earnhardt said about the helmet, about how he can feel the air? Well, that would help you in a situation like this, knowing when you're by.
He was the first car by that wreck on the low side there. Yep. Bill Elliott sneaks by.
Dave Marcus got through. Dave's running 24th. With a Richard Childress power plant and the Real Tree machine. And again, Steve Park's view.
Ow!
He never saw him, but he hit that 28 head on.
Meanwhile, Kenny Irwin's just come from the infield care center. Mike Hogwood, you hate to see it in this situation. What a great run he had going.
A super run. Kenny, maybe your best run of the year going, and I know you're heartbroken at the way it ends here.
Man, we just, we had I don't know if we had a winning car, but we definitely had a top running car. We had to lead some laps, and then we cut a left rear tire down and had to pit. But, that's, it's fun running up front. It's just too bad we got in that altercation off of 2.
What happened?
I just thought I was clear and moved up, and I just didn't give the 97 anywhere to go. And I just, I'm real sorry for everybody that got involved in that deal.
Well, Kenny Irwin, one of the bright young drivers. We saw a glimpse, I think, of his potential here tonight at
No
Daytona.
doubt about it. We've seen him from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and move on towards NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. He's, of course, getting down to finish it here. Final 14 laps. Drafting is going to be the story. We'll see exactly who pairs off with whom as they get set to go. Fans have loved this entire weekend. Not a seat to be had. They've got 6,000 new seats being built on the Winston Tower. They'll be ready for Speed Weeks 1999. All right.
You ready?
Here we go.
Okay, pace car is in. Green flag, green flag.
Johnny Benson not on the lead lap. He's in 22nd, the first car a lap down.
We'll see what Dale Jarrett can do now. He has looked as if he's got the strongest car in the field for quite a while now. Here's his chance.
Well, it's Gordon in the Chevrolet and 3 Fords just behind him.
And Kenny Schrader in another Chevrolet.
And with Pontiac from Bobby Labonte. Burke's there as well. You know, it used to be that slingshot move was the way to go. Of late on the big tracks, it seems as though you want to be out front.
Slingshot just doesn't seem to even work anymore.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, because every once in a while you'll have 2 or 3 cars work together and they can overhaul the leader, as Dale Jarrett was done about midway of the race, just after he led halfway.
Look at this.
Look at them just flanking out 3 wide on the back straightaway.
Look on the inside of Mike Skinner.
Jarrett gets stuffed back, and he will lose 8, 9 positions there.
Eli, look at the 31 of Mike Skinner moving into 4th place there. He was flying down the back.
Something's got to be wrong for Dale Jarrett, guys. He's going straight back. Glenn, what's the story on your brother's car?
Eli's got a flat tire. He's coming in. He's got to come in. He's got a flat tire, so he'll be in this time. The crew's on the wall. Don't know yet which one it is, but tough break.
I don't know what it is,
There you see MCI presenting NASCAR timing and scoring. Tough break for Jarrett. What a break. A tough break for Robert Yates Racing.
You want to talk about a car on the move, the 3 car there of Earnhardt. He is flying up to there, kind of caught up in traffic right now behind Sterling Marlin.
That's 15th and 16th, Marlin and Earnhardt. Spencer still on the lead lap at 18th. That's that red and white number 23.
It's more than a bit frightening when these green flags come out and all these cars are so close together.
Craven in the 36 just to the left there in that wild paint job.
He made several pit stops on that caution flag. Skinner very aggressive at this point in the race. Did they just touch?
And they didn't miss by much.
Jeremy Mayfield sitting there in second right now. He's thinking about maybe making a move right now. I think they're trying to break away from this group running side by side just behind them.
9 to go. No friends, no teammates now. Every man for himself.
Jarrett in 20th spot after the unscheduled pit stop. Ted Musgrave goes to the garage. His day is done. And the drafting is going to tell the story of how this Pepsi 400 plays out. It's a key element. We asked some of the top drivers in that pack how they're going to handle it.
So you make your friends throughout the day, and there is a degree of loyalty, but you know, there's only so much loyalty that you can have to anyone.
It's every man for himself, and you can only help each other for so long, and then you got to go do what you got to do.
You go in saying, hey, I'm going to try to work with you as much as I can, but I can't control every situation that happens out there. But then when it comes down to 5 or 10 to go, we're all on our own. And that's kind of what we saw at Talladega, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing here.
And I dare say we will. We've got fireworks planned after the race. Let's see what kind of fireworks we have as the race winds down.
Spencer was 3 wide again on the backstretch. He was on the bottom of that thing.
Earnhardt's all the way up to 14th from dead last. He was the last car in that group right there. You see him looking over the back panels there. Mark Martin down into the corner they go.
Look at Spencer going inside of Bobby Hamilton. All of that is for position here. Hamilton in the Kodak car in 13th, Spencer in 14th. He'll pass them both. He'll pass Hamilton and Earnhardt.
Well, Earnhardt, you can see the tape on the nose of that car. Still does not have it like he wants it.
Labonte, that's 8th spot.
Mark, back. Caution for rain. There's a rain shower again in turns 3 and 4. Caution on the speedway. Here they come to the stripe. Lap 154 goes up on the board at 160. Caution for another rain shower here at the World Center of Racing, the third little shower we have seen here. This is now 5 laps from the finish.
It's not got a lot of time to quit raining for everybody behind that 24 car.
Stick around. Rain is intensifying. 5 laps from the finish of the Pepsi 400.
He's leading the race. Of course, everyone behind him saying they did the right thing, believe me. Stop it right now. Give everybody a shot at this win.
Through Jeff's windshield, looking forward, you can see a crew member from every team coming out. They stopped the cars off of turn 4, and NASCAR is allowing one crew member from each team to go out there and do nothing but cover the car, cover the windshield, and if the driver so desires, get out of the race car.
Eli, you can see right on the front of Gordon's car. Now they're going to cover it up, but the first thing they wanted to make sure is water didn't run in the backside of the air cleaner there. This part right in there where they had that little deal on there, you see they covered that up so water couldn't run down into the carburetor area.
So the red flag is out as part of the third caution of the day brought out by rain. Crew chiefs now have to just wait it out with everybody. Not a heavy storm as you see, but rain nevertheless. Glenn, it's frustrating sometimes, isn't it?
Well, it is. All they can do is wait now. Move down to Jeremy Mayfield's pit and going to talk to Paul Andrews. Paul, you guys were awfully strong here in February. You got a good race car, but, man, you got Chevys in front of you and Chevys behind you.
It's all right. We got a teammate behind us, too, you know. It's going to be dog-eat-dog world here in a few minutes, you know, when they drop this green. Hopefully we get to go, and I'd like to finish on the green. I'm sure everybody else would, too. You know, but that's all right. We're up here. We got, you know, kind of the 6 of us broke away. I'm sure once we drop this off here, it won't be 6. It'll be like probably 26. But, you know, we're going to have a good finish no matter what.
One more quick question. Have you talked about when to make the move?
Not yet. I mean, that's what we're getting ready to do right now while everything's kind of calmed down here.
Okay, let's go further down pit road.
Okay, Glenn, we've got Ray Evernham here. Ray, first of all, what is this going to do to your race car?
Get it wet.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
You know, as long as it doesn't get in the motor, it seems to have blown over already, and really shouldn't do anything. You know, hopefully motor, everything will be fine. You know, when you shut them off, sometimes it's not good, but you know, with the lower compression, everything's been real good.
All right, so how about the driver? Have you talked to that guy?
Yeah, he's doing a real good job. You know, he's got a bunch of guys on his butt there that are looking to get by him, and it's going to be tough. Always is tough on a restart, but he's doing a real good job for us.
Ray, I was looking at the stats before the race, and you guys have put up some unbelievable numbers. 16 consecutive top 5 finishes, and your average finish has been second in that streak.
Yeah, you know, we've got a great driver and we've got a great race team, but we've had a lot of great luck too, and I just hope it holds out tonight. You know, no matter how good you are, you've got to have that luck factor in there, and you know, like last week, you know, I'd like to tell you that we had a real great day and we were a big part of it, but all we were was prepared when other people had bad luck, and we had good luck, and hopefully we can have some more good luck and get this finished tonight nice and safe.
All right, it looks like we can put those umbrellas away. It's quit raining down here, guys.
We're set to settle it. Buster Otten will pull off the pace car.
Ready. It'll be 3 to go when you get the green. 3 to go. Okay, pace car is in. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Ready. Green flag. Green flag. Go.
3 laps to settle the Pepsi 400. It takes them nearly 2 full laps to get up to speed.
Skinner had dropped back a bit. A good bit of distance between himself and Jeremy Mayfield on that start.
But he'll make it up in this corner, because there's one thing, when you're building up speed, you can really pull back on a car. You give a little distance like that. As you see, he's pulled into less than a half a car left. Back here, they're battling side by side.
Bobby Labonte and his brother Terry.
That is bump drafting, 200 miles an hour down the back straightaway.
Mayfield, who won his first time ever at Pocono earlier this year on TNN, trying to duplicate it. Schrader works the low side in 5th place.
Those cars running side by side. We're going to have a breakaway up front.
Yep, those 3 cars, those 4 cars up front are going to just take off if they keep racing side by side back there.
2 laps to go. Gordon from the Hendrick bunch. Mayfield. Martin riding in 9th. Mayfield and Wallace up front. Their teammates as Earnhardt goes 3 wide. And Jeff Burton makes the move in 14th spot.
Whoa!
Earnhardt got lost the back of the car.
Nearly 3 wide into that turn.
With Mark Martin in 9th. Out of turn 4. White flag.
Whoa, you see Jeremy looking to the inside. Couldn't make the move. Skinner looks to the high side right now. They're trying everything. Gordon's running by the mirror right now.
Here comes Skinner.
Caught him, and so is Terry Labonte. Side by side behind Gordon.
Right now they're running side by side. Jeff Gordon saying, I love it. He'll try to run in the middle part of the racetrack so one car does not get a great run down the back straightaway.
They mix it up again behind Gordon. Mayfield. Here comes Bobby Labonte to the outside.
What a move on the high side, making 3 wide into turn 3. Bobby Labonte looked like he has the car to beat.
Bobby Labonte is there. Out of 4, they're coming to the checkers. Trouble in the back of the pack. The lead and the win. Gordon, for the 11th time, he wins. Chad Little taps the wall as he broke out of traffic near the back of the field. The 40th career victory and the 11th win of 1998 goes to Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. Holding off the challenge of Bobby Labonte, who finishes 2nd. Mike Skinner 3rd. Jeremy Mayfield 4th. Rusty Wallace will finish 5th. 6th goes to Bobby Labonte. 7th is Ward Burton. Ricky Craven will finish 8th. Schrader got shuffled back to 9th. And 10th goes to Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is an 11-time winner this year. Steve Burns is with his crew chief, Ray Evernham.
Well, Ray, you looked awfully calm on top of that pit box. What a finish.
Well, you can't do nothing but I want to thank God first for giving us the opportunity to do this, and really want to thank all the people, all the firefighters, and all the people that worked so hard to get this place back in shape for us and saved it. And thank DuPont, Pepsi, and Quaker State, and that guy driving that car. He's really awesome. And in case all the news media is talking, it's October and we've won a race.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They have gotten the win. Meanwhile, Chad Little, you see him right there, took a mean lick. He shot out of traffic and impacted the inside wall exiting turn 4. The 3rd Daytona win for Jeff Gordon. He won the 1997 Daytona 500, the 1995 and 1998 Pepsi 400s. It's the 14th Chevrolet win of the year and the 17th consecutive top 5 finish. That is the most in the modern era of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Mike Skinner comes home 3rd, a superb run, and there you see the NASCAR inspectors checking out the angle of the rear spoilers. They do that before anybody gets to the car.
Exactly right. When they pat you on that trunk lid and say, go ahead, you're okay, you know you didn't run the whole night for free.
It's got to be 45 degrees. Anything less than that, and you're in trouble.
For Jeff Gordon, it is his 4th restrictor plate win in his 24th restrictor plate race. And for that young man from Vallejo, California, by way of Pittsboro, Indiana, the hits just keep on coming. Closing in on yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. His point lead is now 358. That means he only needs to finish 37th or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does. 37th or better. And Jeff Gordon would have his 3rd championship in the last 4 years. Glenn Joward Ford is down in victory lane as the Pepsi 400 has gone to Jeff Gordon. Glenn?
And Eli, Jeff is unbuckling his safety belts and harness there, putting on the cap. Jeff, it was exciting there. I know you were watching that rearview mirror and awfully glad to see those guys going side by side on that last lap.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Usually when they get side by side, somebody breaks away and comes after you, and Bobby almost did that. I just got to say thank you to all the guys at the engine shop. Charlie Seegers, Randy Dort, and Chuck Tunes on it, and all the guys back at Hendrick Engines. These last couple weeks have been the best restrictor plate engines I've ever had. And this DuPont Chevrolet has just been awesome. I want to thank God. Boy, he certainly directed me and guided me all through traffic today. And that last restart, I'm sure he was riding with me.
Jeff, another giant step toward that third championship.
I just want everybody to know this is October, baby. Everybody said we couldn't win in October, and we just tried to think, hey, this is a July race in October, and I tell you what, it was just a phenomenal effort by everybody this weekend. My hat's off to Ray Evernham. He just tuned the car perfect. I mean, this thing handled like a dream. Great pit stops by the Rainbow Warriors, and want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes, Quaker State. This is a Pepsi race. I want to thank them. This is a big day for all of us. And this Monte Carlo right here was awesome.
You took the lead with a lot of laps to go when you came out on that last pit stop there. Did you guys discuss that? Was that what you wanted to do? Get out front and make them pass you?
Well, I think that's just when our fuel window was. I don't think we were getting very good fuel mileage. I think we would like to have come in with a few more guys. But as it turned out, it worked out for us. Jeremy and I worked together real well. He tried to hang with me. I'm not sure where exactly he ended up in that shuffle, but I appreciate him helping me there. And, we just came in when we had to, and, I let Ray make those calls, and he made some great calls. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to stay up there, especially when Dale Jarrett was behind me. He was real, real strong, and, hate to see him have his troubles, but we were able to keep that thing up front. Those restarts, man, they were making me nervous.
Well, he's not too nervous now. 11 wins this year, 17 consecutive top 5 finishes. What a year.
A remarkable year. 40 career wins and finally one in the month of October. And the celebration and the fireworks begin. Special night as Jeff and Brooke Gordon look on and high fives all around. John Hendrick and the entire Hendrick Motorsports bunch. Now, let's go back to the last lap and take a look again at everything that shook down there. Didn't want to give Chad little short shrift in the problems he had. Let's go back again with Bobby Labonte giving us the view.
Go to the outside into turn 3, right by Skinner. Looks like he has a run on Jeff Gordon that he might could close in there at the end.
There's Schrader trying. Again, Bobby Labonte makes the move. Couldn't have been more than a car length of an opportunity there.
That was so tight.
Yeah. And watch Chad now, 3 wide.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little help from behind. It looked like Spencer was there. Don't know how much the impact was, but that was a big impact there.
He whacked it big time, didn't he?
Big time is right.
Watch it again.
Here comes Spencer in the red and white car there. Just a little nudge right there, just enough to send him hard into the inside wall.
You saw Chad climb from the car and walk to the ambulance. Jeff Gordon is in victory lane for the 40th time in his career. Bobby Labonte, he came home in second. Let's hear from him in the garage.
Yeah, it was a great run tonight for Bobby Labonte, Eli, and your last 3 laps may have been your best of the night.
We just had, a great error there last time, and Terry was helping me a lot right there at the end. I mean, if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened, that's for sure. So, it do where you hate to see the red flag come out because you're not sure what's going to happen. But for me, it was, I achieved a lot on the last 2 or 3 laps. But, last weekend we went 2nd to 6th on the last lap, and this weekend we went about 6th to 2nd on the last couple laps. So, we just kind of turned around. But Terry helped me more than anything. That's what helped.
That bump drafting really looked neat on television, and it really seemed to give you that little oomph and push you needed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what helped me get by those guys. I mean, we had a run on Ward off of on the restart, and then we had a run on those other 4 cars there, and then they started mixing it up, and so I got to the outside of Rusty and 1 and 2 there, and Terry went with me all down the back straightaway. We just had good air because those guys were racing on the inside and 2 wide down there and slowing their cars down, and Jeff was pulling away, and I just had some good air.
Help from his brother. He comes home second tonight. Bobby Labonte starting on the pole. Steve Burns.
And we're with Mike Skinner. Mike, what a great show the fans got tonight.
They always get a good show here in Talladega. You know, everybody hates restrictor plate racing, and, you know, I'm not a big fan of restrictor plate racing, but what a show. Good gracious, you know. Our car was good at the start. We fell way back. The thing got extremely loose. Got so loose I couldn't drive it. Guys worked hard, and something popped in the rear end leaving the pits on that last deal there, and it kind of fixed itself, and it was pretty awesome there at the end. But Lowe's and MTD and all the vendors on that car has really stuck by this race team, and I really appreciate that. And we're still growing. It's our sophomore year. Can't wait till next year. I can't wait till next week. You know, this thing it's getting to where we're competitive every week, and that's awesome.
And you know something about winning in Phoenix, too.
I know how to get to victory lane there. I've never drove a Winston Cup car into victory lane, but maybe next week will be the first time. This team's really coming. It's really doing good, man. We had to back up and pull out and go around Mark Martin. He had us pinched in on that first pit stop, still come out in the top 10. That's pretty awesome. That's fast tire changing. Those guys are bad, I'm telling you.
All right, good luck. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Steve and Mike. Mike Skinner finishing 3rd here tonight, equaling his career best finish of 3rd that he posted at Watkins Glen in the Bud at the Glen. Back to wrap it up. As rain again, victory lane. Jeff Gordon right now talking into a microphone that is projecting his voice and picture onto the big Sony Jumbotron screens that are positioned around Daytona International. There you see the finishing numbers. Ernie Irvin's car in 8th. Ricky Craven doing himself so very proud here tonight as the sub driver. Andretti, Elliott, Nemechek, and Nadeau hung around to finish in 19th. There you see those who had some problems earlier in the day, and those who went to the garage area early in the Pepsi 400. Again, the point lead is now 358 points. Jeff Gordon only needs to finish 37th or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does, to clinch the championship. What a special night here at Daytona. Yes, there was some grinding going on. There was a whole lot of close action. Sometimes you were riding high, and sometimes the night went flat on you. But when all was said and done, the bright lights and the high speeds equaled another win for Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. A thanks to Buddy Baker, the doctor, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood, and the entire production crew from TNN Motorsports. Thanks so much for joining us here at the World Center of Racing. We'll see you next weekend from Phoenix as the NASCAR Winston Cup season rolls on. I'm Eli Gold. For all of us at TNN Motorsports, good night from Daytona Beach, Florida.